Maximize your wealth now.
Yes, in business, finance, family, and lifestyle. Think about it. As a certified financial educator, my whole goal for this program originally was to bring business and finance together with spiritual principles and universal laws. And all of it needs to come from the heart. Got it?
Maximize your wealth now.
Absolutely.
Yes! Welcome to Maximize Your Wealth Now.
In business, finance, family, and lifestyle. Today we have a great show for you because we are going to be talking about a little bit of coaching to help you out.
Let's talk a little bit about coaching since that's my expertise. I just want to share with you that, if you're at a point in your life where you don't know where you want to go, or you aren't clear about the path that you want to take, that's a great time to get a coach, because a coach can help you to go inside and find out what your passion is, find out what your purpose is, and help you to take the steps and create a plan. Just like the money idea, same thing. When you have a plan of how to manage your money and we know the 5 steps, then we can take the steps to make that happen. And with coaching, it's the same. When you're in a when you are either in a relationship or anywhere in any facet of your life, do you know that there's over 52 different coaching niches out there?
My gosh, I had no idea.
That's right. So it doesn't really matter where it is in your life that you want to grow. There's college coaches that'll help you they'll coach you to how to get into college for free with no student loan. Look those people up.
There you go.
That's right. Look those people up because they're important for the people that have college kids. And then there's relationship coaching, there's addiction coaching or recovery coaching, there's physician coaching for doctors or lawyers who are so busy that they don't have a life. Oh, that sounds familiar. Wait. Okay, anyway.
Now, do you do all these kinds of coaching, or do you focus on more of a narrow?
Well, I've been really blessed, I'd say, to be in more of a life coaching situation, and I also do spiritual coaching. I love spiritual coaching because that's really getting into the heart with people and finding out how they can get connected. As we had our guest Iris talked about the joy, right? She's a joyologist.
Absolutely.
Well, helping our clients to get connected spiritually to their highest best self, that's a gift that I love giving to my clients. So yeah, lots of different types of coaching out there. One thing that I want to just share is that with coaching, the changes that you want to make in your life can be done so much easier than without a coach.
And faster too, right?
Faster,
Yeah.
Twice as fast. Okay, here's statistics. We have people, when we set them up, we're going through their questions and we're finding out where they want to go, and we're helping them to get the clarity to go out there, right? When we're helping them get that clarity and we're asking them a lot of questions so that they get real clear. Once we've got it all written down and the path is established, it happens twice as fast as it normally would. So when you have a coach, it's like a miracle happens. Your goals will be accomplished in twice the time. Well, not twice the time, half the time.
Twice the time.
Twice as fast, half the time, as it normally would be. So it's a brilliant thing to be coached. It's a great gift, and I would highly recommend, if you don't have a coach, if you've never talked to a coach, or you don't even know what coaching is, learn about it, find out about it. It'll serve you really well.
So I'm really conscientious about having a coach also.
Right, and I think about being here on this show. You know that this was a plan that I had several years ago, and it was.
Yeah, and you were my coach, right?
And here we are, and this is just an example of when you have a coach and you put a plan together, you'll end up in a situation like this where your dreams are coming true.
Absolutely. So if you are thinking about even love and relationship, even that needs a coach. So Barbara, that was awesome. I really agree with you. And no matter how much we grow, how big we get, even the biggest of the biggest, Tony Robbins, all those, Deepak Chopra, they all have coaches that coach them. And that's what gets them to the next level. Otherwise, you just plateau and you stay right where you are and you have no idea what to do next.
Well, that's when you live the comfortable life. We're talking about lifestyle, right? Do you want to live an extraordinary life, or do you want to live a comfortable life?
Absolutely. Right? And I'm all about comfort.
Yes, you can have be comfortable in the way that it's extraordinary, or you can be comfortable in the way that you're a couch potato.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to travel without a tent, you need a coach. So you'll have more income. And this has just been awesome. I loved chatting with you today. And I can't wait until our next guest very shortly.
Jason Akatiff is the founder and CEO of A4D, an advertising company that provides solutions to complex online advertising challenges. He is also an angel investor, a commercial real estate investor, a multi-company entrepreneur, and an advisor to businesses. In his free time, he likes to pilot his own plane and enjoys his life as a family man. He's mastered the process of team building and leads top performers who promote products online through email, display ads, social media, and YouTube. His corporation specializes in lead generation for various industries, including financial, dating, education, and many more. Over the years, Jason's team has developed a wide range of proprietary products to solve business challenges while creating product marketing that stands out from the crowd. He opened a software development studio in Krakow, Poland called Marvelous, which is the engineering backbone of his US-based company. A4D and Marvelous support new companies by funding first-round startups, putting ideas into action, and supplying the best technology and services. Each year, A4D sponsors an event in San Diego that draws hundreds of affiliates from around the world looking for new products and companies they can market online. Jason ensures that his products and services truly build value for his huge fan base. He shares his expertise on how to build marketing funnels that create revenue and the secrets to successful Facebook campaigns on ProductSquad.com. Jason Akatiff started out working as a waiter and is now a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur with valuable tips to share with you about how to take your business to the next level.
Hi, I'm Shirlene Reeves with Maximize Your Wealth Now TV. So excited to be here with Jason Akatiff today. And he owns A4D. And he's going to share with you how he became an entrepreneur and what he does in his business. And I think you'll find it very exciting. Welcome, Jason, to the show. I'm so glad to be with you.
Thank you for having me.
I think you have some wonderful information for everybody. And so I want to ask you first, tell us what you do so that the audience can understand.
The basic premise of my company is it's all revolves around online advertising. So what we do is we go find ad placements on the internet, and we then go find clients that we think those ad placements would work well for, perform well, essentially become profitable placements, advertising spots on the internet for them. And we go source out those merchants or those advertisers, and we buy that inventory, and we make money arbitraging between the two. Any major website, that being MSN.com, Yahoo.com, Google's, in Google, there's ads across the top and along the side. So all those different placements, we buy advertising inventory. So you could find our ads on any of those placements. So there's ad space, and then there's ways that ad space is sold. Pay-per-click is one way. Another way is every 1,000 impressions or every 1,000 visitors, called CPM sales. There's pop-under traffic, which essentially you go to a website and something opens underneath. There's cost per install type inventory. There's all different ways that inventory or advertising space is sold. We'll buy it however we can get it.
So tell me, how did you learn to do all this? It's so technical, and I know you've been in business for a lot of years. Share that with us.
I actually started in this industry. I bought an online book that basically said you could make money on the internet. I invested probably, 2 years, a year and a half of time, roughly 14 to 15 hours a day, sitting at my computer 7 days a week. didn't make any money at all. And then finally, in whatever it was, month 14, month 15, I made about $100,000 that month. But it really was just sitting there, working diligently, focused on figuring out how to make all these pieces fit together and work.
Wow, and that happens with so many of us as entrepreneurs, where we just don't make any money for the first year, 2 years, sometimes it's even 4 years, and then suddenly all the money just comes in because you use the skill that you learned, and you learned it out of a book. That's pretty awesome, Jason.
Well, I started with a book. I probably learned it out of 100 books by the end of time, and still definitely study and educate myself. In our world, things are constantly shifting, constantly moving. Everything is moving at all times at a very rapid pace. How we make money as a company essentially is the same model, but who our clients are, where we're buying that advertising inventory fluctuates on almost a daily to weekly basis.
So it's really a living, breathing company. It just keeps moving and keeps moving forward. We want to give you some clarity on how you can step up and make a difference. Right. You have seen guest experts come on our show, and if you have a mission and a message, we would love you to come on our show and deliver that to the masses. And I know you invented a game too. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the game?
I'm a big gamer. I've been a big gamer ever since I was a young kid. And so I was thinking one day, I was playing actually Diablo 3 back, before this came out, and I invested a ton of time and I learned to be very good at it, but it was taking time away from my family, that being my wife and my 2 children. And at the end of it, I felt like I was very empty and I had nothing, right? I just spent all this time. I had this skill to play Diablo 3, but really it was quite meaningless in the real world. It meant absolutely nothing. So I thought, what if you could play a video game that taught you a skill that you could use in real life? And that's where Startup Alley stemmed from. Basically, learning, in my opinion, at its most core is, taking in some information, doing something on trial and error, making course corrections, and iterating small changes to become better at it. And this is exactly what a video game is. The beautiful part of a video game, or any game in life, is failure is actually part of it, and it's fun, right? Like, if you went and played a game right now and you won every single time and you never died and there was no challenge to it and everything was easy, it'd probably be a pretty boring game.
Right.
So this is much like life, right? Like we go out, we try something, but people have this feeling of failure attached to their self-worth and whatnot, where in a game you don't really have that. It's like you're supposed to lose. It's set up, so it's supposed to be challenging and it's supposed to be hard. For somebody that wants to build a basic skill, in this case it's media buying, if they want to learn a very basic skill and the basics of how it works, it's going to teach you all the general basic mechanics of what's going on, and then from there you can take and kind of build these buckets in your brain of how these things work, and then you can go much deeper onto each facet of this thing, but at least you'll have all the core mechanics of of understanding of how media buying would work in this situation. And hopefully in the future we'll build other games that will teach people other real world skills as well.
That's just so awesome. And Jason made so many really good points in what he just shared with you. And one is that I really notice, and I say all the time to all of the people that I work with, there are no mistakes. Mistakes are only stepping stones to success. And that's what Jason just taught you as well. And he's teaching you that also with regard to how he does his business and the game. And I've seen this game. It's very awesome. And you built it all yourself, didn't you?
Oh, a team of people built it. I definitely didn't build it myself. I came up with the initial concept, and I think that's that's definitely a story of lots of failures and learning and hiring the wrong people and managing processes the wrong way, and building that game has taught me how to build a product. And what took me probably roughly $1.5 million and 3 years worth of time and many different employees involved, now I could probably build in 6 months. But it was a learning process to figure out how all that stuff worked, and a very expensive one at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we all have that problem, right? We have all these mistakes that we make, and they're always expensive, and sometimes we really kick ourselves for what we do, but it's not our fault. We only know as much as we know at the time that we're doing it. So we have to give ourselves a little break, and then like Jason just said, how to move forward much better because you've already learned all the mistakes and paid all the money. I know I've done that too. So Jason, you have an office here in San Diego, and that's where we are right now. It's really exciting for me to be with him. And you have an office where else? On another part of the world.
My CTO from here was actually from Germany originally, and so we went and opened an office in Krakow, Poland, in order to hire developers. So we manage all of our product development process. The front end, all the design, the concepts, the user stories, which is like a user and the journey that they go through in using the product. It is all developed here. And then all that is taken, turned into small tasks, pushed to Poland. They actually develop all of our products on the back end. We have various other products and companies as well that they work on.
So tell me, what really important message would you have for new entrepreneurs starting out, or maybe you might choose to give advice to entrepreneurs that have been around a while and can't seem to get to that next step?
I went out and I hired some people that were much better than me at, say, operations, and somebody that was much better than me at sales. And they actually came into the company and started teaching me how to do all these things properly. Before that, I had always assumed that nobody like that would ever work for me. I've pretty much been entrepreneurial most of my life. That being, I started as a waiter, and even at that, it was a hustle to, it was my tables and my section. Granted, I worked for a company, but really at the end of the day, what I made mostly was influenced by how hard I worked and how efficient I was with my time. But I always assumed that anybody that was better than me at a large section of stuff would inevitably just open their own company. And this is not true. Like, there's a lot of people that, they love being employees. They love being part of a team. In order to be a really successful entrepreneur, in my opinion, you have to be okay with risk, right? You have to be okay with spending a bunch of money, taking a ton of risk, being okay losing that money, picking yourself up again, rebuilding, doing it all over again, over and over, no matter how many times it takes. This company has been in business since 2008, and we've fallen on our face probably 3 or 4 times. You hope your company looks like this, but our company looks like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then even lower, and then even higher, and then even lower. And these lows are, as a company, we're losing money. These highs, as a company, we're making a tremendous amount of money. And our business is very unstable from that sense. So, it's that ability to go, okay, well, we were making all of our money with this. How are we going to reinvent and pivot and become a better company moving forward? So, number one would be going out and if you're going to hire, if you want to build something, go be realistic with what you're good at. I mean, my skill sets is I'm very good at networking. I have a very high tolerance for risk. I have a passionate desire to build something much bigger at all times. And I have a super passionate desire to understand how everything works, like just digging in. But that's really all that I'm very, very good at. Everything else, I try and go hire somebody that's much better than me that can bring that asset into the organization and is going to make us a better place and build our growth. So at least for me, that's the most important thing, I think. For the single entrepreneur that's just by themselves, I watch people and they jump from here to there and they don't have focus. So I would tell you, if you're selling a product and there's a whole product line, become very good at selling one product, right? Become an expert at that. If you are, building a product, narrow it down to as few features as possible in order to make it work for the market, right? There's something in product development called feature creep, where it starts out with it needs to do these 4 things, and 6 months down the road there's like 20, 25, 100 more ideas of features that this thing needs to cater to these different markets. Keep your focus as narrow as possible and just try and get those successful wins off the bat, putting that one step foot in front of the other. I talked to my team here, from my management team and everybody else. I have my vision personally on 2 places. My vision is where we're going into the future, so points on the horizon where I want to be as a company, and then what specifically is the exact next step that I need to take inside the organization with the product or whatever it is. What is the exact next step that I need to take in order to get to the step after that? I see people planning years in advance when they haven't proven out their model or they haven't proven out what they'll be doing in the beginning. Because what inevitably I watch people do is they go build all this skill set, they go do all this stuff, but then that fear of whatever that first thing that they thought was going to be a problem is still there.
Yeah.
So you got to overcome that. And then, work on becoming good at whatever the skill set is after the fact.
So that's another really big message. What I see so many entrepreneurs doing now is running from coach to coach. And they learn what they have to do, learn with that coach, but then they don't put it into action. And so then the business becomes a hobby, not a business. And Jason's really given you some excellent ideas and some really good skill sets to actually practice. And you mentioned flying. Tell us a little bit about your plane. I've seen it and it's really awesome. Tell us about it.
I grew up in a plane, so one of my goals that I had set for myself was to become a pilot and buy my own plane that I could fly around here locally. It's a prop plane, 206, turbocharged, and I fly from San Diego to Vegas or Salt Lake City or the Lake Tahoe or San Jose. It's kind of shorter jaunts, but it's a lot of fun to fly and kind of distracts your mind from everything else that's happening, because you really need to focus in on what's going on, and it's a challenge and it's fun.
I'm curious to know, Laurie, what was your biggest aha during the class?
Figuring out how to say what I do in 4 to 5 words. This has been so exciting, because now when I network and someone asks me what I do, I can say it so succinctly and very excited, to the point that women say, I want to work with you.
Oh, wow. Talk about change. I'm a change agent here, and I tell you, I was resistant, and I did move forward, and I did risk, only because Shirlene was so gentle and supportive for that process.
I am so excited to be able to reach so many women now, whereas before it was one-on-one, and now I can reach the masses.
The masses. Massive visibility for massive income, right?
Yes.
So tell us, what's your next step in business?
We have Startup Alley. I have Vidarian, which is a video player, analytics, and split testing company. And then I have A4D, which is the advertising network. I have points on the horizon in my mind set for all 3 companies. And the next step in business is always the next step for me, right? So We've spent all this time building the game. Now we need to do user acquisition for the game. That is, find and buy users profitably using advertising channels. So 100% focus on whatever that next step of that thing is. I'm in the process right now of hiring a CEO coach, but I want to know that they've run a 1,000-person organization. I'm buying their experience, that trial and error of that 1 year ramp up period or 2 year ramp up period to become good at something. That time really gets shrunk down if you have somebody that's already been there and says the signposts logistically to make these things happen is this. So you're going to run into an issue here. You're going to run into an issue here. You should build a system here. You should hire this person. I want somebody that already has done all that. This way, I don't have to go learn the hard way.
Yeah, and a much smaller range of error also in mistakes. So somebody else can ramp you up so much faster. And that's a really good point too, is that if you need help, so many people I see trying to learn it themselves, wasting the time of learning it themselves, and they don't hire someone to actually teach them or take over where they have a shortfall. And Jason really recognizes, as he says, it's not in his wheelhouse. That's my favorite phrase that he has. Then he'll go out and he'll hire someone to take care of that. So Jason, this has just been such an awesome interview with you. I just want to know if you have any final thoughts, and then I'm going to put in a final thought.
My final thoughts are, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, it's a very, very hard road. Don't let anybody, steer you or tell you any different. It's very doable, but it's a hard road, and you got to focus, and you got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to be ready to fail and learn from your mistakes, and then just iterate on those failures. And, if you stick with it long enough, you'll get there. In my business, I've seen people come in and be profitable and do this stuff profitably in 2 weeks. I've seen it happen as fast as 3 days. It took me 14 months of 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is like sitting in front of a computer 15 hours a day. Right? Most people are not willing to do that, right? It's like, oh, I've got family, I've got this. You've got to really ask yourself, are you willing to make the sacrifices to be great? Because if you're not, you've got to question if it makes sense to start, and is it the best avenue to go down?
Thank you for that. So this has just been a lot of really good information. I just so enjoyed having you with me, and even more so because Jason is my son, and I wanted to interview him because so many of you ask me, what does your son do? And I try to explain that, but do you see why I kind of get caught up in it? But there's so many pearls of wisdom in what you shared, and I just want to thank you for your time and tell you how grateful I am to have you and how proud I am.
Thanks for having me, Mom. Oh, thanks for having me, Mom.
Thanks so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next show.
You boys getting it? Taking that wall out?